upon time, move upon time, move on down, click, 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 lie, click, click, tight, yeah, click that shot, click that trick upon time, move upon time, move on down, click, 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 lie, click, click, tight, yeah, click that shot, click that shot.
Peace party people, this is B-boy Cabi.
B-boy Wasabi Tech Xavier.
Tech Xavier, you want to go by that as well.
AKA Horse Choker. AKA that was Boondocks. But all right, so we are bringing you a spoilerific, spoiler-tastic, full of spoilers review of Thor Ragnarok.
So if you do not want any spoilers of Thor Ragnarok, which only came out a couple of days ago, you might want to stop
This
right
is
here.
literally the only
Stop right
spoiler
here.
after that. All right, spoiler number one: Ragnarok is in Norse mythology.
So real quick, we're gonna do the same format as we usually do. We're gonna do the good, the bad, and the ugly. So bear with us as we start to do
Real
this.
quick,
Here we go. I'm Dan Cherzomi, and this is another episode of All Things Geekery. It's been a while. Actually, the last episode we reviewed Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That was like shit. Obama was still president,
like
right?
that,
So we're gonna do Thor Ragnarok. This is the third installment of the Thor series. I just realized this is the 16th MCU movie, and when we say MCU, we mean Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Is it really?
Yes, it was directed by Taika Waititi. Am I saying that right? I think Taika Waititi, who I'm completely unfamiliar with him, but he actually did the Thor shorts. Remember the shorts they were doing on Thor, where he got a roommate after Age of Ultron.
Very vague.
Yeah,
like
so
the
he
ones
did a
on
couple
the
of shorts.
DVD
They're on YouTube.
edit, right?
They're on YouTube,
Yeah.
and it's just
There's a few
him
really
with a
cool
roommate,
shorts.
and he's like sending an email to Tony Stark. He's hanging out with Bruce Banner.
There's a
They're
few-
real funny.
There's a few really cool shorts.
Yeah, they're real funny.
Okay.
So he's the one that did
He's
that.
some tenure
and
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He actually, the only other thing I saw, he did a bunch of stuff. But the only other thing I saw was he did Flight of the Conchords, which was a skit. It wasn't a skit. It was a sketch comedy show that I actually enjoyed. They did some really cool stuff. It's some white people shit, but it was actually pretty good.
Some white people shit.
Yeah. So he did it. And he actually plays Gorg in this. I thought Tamura Morrison.
Spelled with a K.
Korg.
Korg.
It's K-O-R-G.
K-O-R-G.
And I thought Tamura Morrison was playing him, but it's actually Taika Waititi. So just to give you a heads up on that, 16th MCU installment. What do you think? Good thing you got to start.
Good thing. I enjoyed because I'm actually a big Hulk fan, and for those of you that did not know, not World War Hulk, but Thor Ragnarok, the film, drew a whole lot from a Hulk storyline actually called Planet of the Hulk, which is even funnier because I'm sure you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's like a meme that was going around for the longest, and it was like all of the MCU's like release film planning that they were gonna come out with a Planet Hulk movie, and they decided not to do it because they didn't think that the Hulk was strong enough to carry a film on his own. So they put a lot of elements from the Planet Hulk storyline into Thor Ragnarok. So I actually liked a lot of those elements in the sense of I like that they made the Grandmaster the main villain instead of some other miscellaneous villain because it drew it into the fact that the other Celestials kind of play a part. Wait, no, they're not Celestials. They're whatever that order is called. They're called something.
Well, they're supposed to be like they call them in Marvel.
Yeah,
they call them aspects.
Aspects.
They call them
and
aspects.
it's the Grandmaster, the Collector, the Warrior, and all those dudes. The Champion. But yeah, so like what's his name? Frank. Dude, dang. Benicio del Toro plays the Collector in a bunch of the other MCU films, and then they brought in my man's The Fly for
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Who seems to be everybody's bae on Twitter, I noticed. So.
Yeah, so they brought him in to play the Collector. So I liked that they're making it a whole cosmic thing. I liked that their Inside Man was changed into a Valkyrie. I like when they bring cosmic elements into the films to kind of make it like the Thor was all on this other planet and people had heard about Asgardians and they just weren't like impressed because in the cosmic reality of things, the Asgardians are just another race of people. So I thought that was a really cool, fascinating thing to bring into it.
Me personally, I like they just because the Thor that we're used to in the comic book is very, very serious. I mean, particularly recently on the Jason Aaron, very, very serious Thor, especially now that he's unworthy Thor.
He's always stressed out.
He's very, very serious. He's always been like that. I like this very more human, more humorous Thor, and so
yeah, a lot of people
it works.
complain about the
Yeah,
amount
they
of
were
humor.
a lot of people were upset about that, but I like it.
And I think when the only complaint you have about a film is the fact that it made you laugh, is like,
Yeah.
that's like a good film. Like, it's like you're just nitpicking at that point, because the action, the fight scenes were dope. CG usually actually really irritates me, and this CG was really good. So the fight scenes were dope. The Hulk and Thor have an amazing fight scene. That actually
Oh
is
my
a
God,
really
worth the
dope,
price.
it's
Yeah,
actually
worth the
a
price.
really dope
Price
fight
of admission.
scene.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because
Really
you get to see, it looks like the Thor and the Hulk really fighting. You know, these are two cosmically,
Literally ripped out the comic
yeah,
books.
cosmically
Yeah.
talented, cosmically powerful motherfuckers fighting. And they throw each other across the ring. They smash each other up with weapons. It was dope. And there's a lot of cool shots to like the other Marvel films that were like, you know, low key stuff and high key stuff. Loki appears and he has a lot of moments with the Hulk where he's fucking terrified.
Oh, that was funny. But Loki does capoeira, because I know when they did the first Thor movie, they talked about how much capoeira training he did. And
Did
he
you
actually
see any
does
capoeira
it.
in this film?
Yeah, he did. He did capoeira
I
real
saw,
quick.
like,
Yeah,
I looked for it.
Yeah, he did it.
He has
He
a
did
fight
it.
scene with Valkyrie.
Yeah, he does.
Played by a black chick that people also had beef with.
Tessa Thompson rock. Tessa
an amazing
Thompson
job.
made this. Tessa Thompson from Dear White People did her thing. Thizzle.
Did an
Idris
amazing-
Elba as Hemdall
Heimdall.
did his
Amazing.
thing. Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like
this
that.
film, this film
everybody
showcased a lot
shined.
of another great thing. Just to kind of piggyback on that, this film really showcased a lot of like side Thor characters and side MCU characters. We got to see Heimdall do his thing. He led a whole resistance. There was a whole Carl Urban character, Lord Scourge. I didn't remember.
He's
him.
Executioner. He used to mess with Enchantress.
The Executioner.
Yeah, that's the Executioner. He
I
used to mess with
didn't even
Enchantress.
click that.
He was.
I remember.
Yeah,
Yes.
he used to
Okay, in
always
that
mess with
case,
Enchantress.
That
and-
was
yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
All right, so
yep.
Carl Urban playing, because they kept saying Scourge. That's what I didn't remember.
He is Scourge,
I was
though.
looking for
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
Who felt like I was in my hand. I'm like Lord Scourge. Who is Lord Scourge? But the Executioner. In that case, yes, Carl Urban's character was amazing in it. Heimdall was dope. Odin even had really cool scenes.
We'll talk later, but yeah, but
I guess he disagreed.
But everybody did their part. I think everybody played their part. I mean, even the Grandmaster,
Jeff
they
Goldblum,
all-
I think
Jeff
killed it.
Goldblum
I
did his
think Jeff
thing,
Goldblum
yeah.
killed it.
Yep.
There's like a scene in it where they're like on Sakaar, and they're like, also they made Sakaar like a bit different.
Very different.
And it was
Very
even cool.
different.
They made Sakaar almost like it was like Raxus Prime, like it was like at the end of the galaxy, and it was like surrounded by wormholes.
Yeah.
And it was just covered in trash and debris from other planets, and I thought that was really cool.
Whereas the comic book is like a post-apocalyptic planet, like Road
And there
Warriors.
is a
shit.
wormhole,
Yeah.
one wormhole
So,
that deposited
yeah.
stuff. This was kind of like a way station at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the universe, but also like literally at the end of the universe, because they were like time flows differently here. And there's a scene when the Grand Master is like, on any other planet, I'd be over a million years old, but on this planet, I'm just kind of.
Yeah.
And
I
he
thought
just
that
leaves
was
this-
cool.
he leaves
Yeah,
a
I
statement
thought,
hanging,
I thought
and I
that
was
was
just
cool
like, oh,
because
snap, like-
because we learned that Banner has been there for like 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool how they put all those things together. Like great, and you know the pacing was great. Like when I got up, it felt like only an hour passed.
And it was like a 3-hour film.
You know, it was like 2 hours and some change. So it really felt like an hour passed instead of 2 hours and some change. Like I thought the pacing was really good. I think really Marvel set a bar for this one. And I think what's going to happen is people are going to be expect. But I mean, we got Infinity Wars coming up. We got, of course, Black Panther. So I think Black Panther will set the bar. So Marvel knocks it out the park with this. Highly recommend it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say top 5 MCU movies. Top 5.
I mean, I can't right now think of something I like. I mean, Winter Soldier was dope.
Winter
That's
Soldier
my-
to me is
that's my
number one.
favorite.
Yeah,
Winter
that's my
Soldier's
favorite one. Winter Soldier is my favorite one.
Ant-Man makes that list surprisingly
Ah,
because I didn't only because of how unexpectedly good that movie
It was good, but I'll never. Marvel will never make me like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Will never do it.
Spider-Man was really good actually. I never saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Actually, I'm a little.
It's not as good as the first one, but it's up there.
Okay, I heard it was good.
It was good. Yeah.
But Ragnarok, I like It's my favorite of the Thor films, definitely. I didn't like
course,
Thor. I
that's
didn't like
not
Thor
hard,
1
though.
that much.
Yeah, that's not hard.
Thor 2 was kind of stupid. The only thing I liked in Thor 2 was all of the Loki scenes.
I like Dark World. I like Dark World because Hemdall did his thing in Dark World, but it could have been better.
All of the Loki scenes.
Yeah, so-
Loki kills it in this one as well.
He does.
He just exudes.
Tom
and
Huddleston
oozes.
just does this
He
thing.
really does. He kills
He
that
does
role
his
every
thing.
time. And then there's also there's a lot of really cool relationship type banter between Thor and Loki, because the main bad villain of this movie, actually, they're saying Ragnarok is started by this chick who was the firstborn of Odin, and she was
they changed the Hela story. They changed the Hela story.
They made Hela into the firstborn of Odin, and he sealed her away because she got too ambitious.
And that's why she was able to destroy Mjolnir, because she could be able to wield it as well.
Exactly, that was originally her weapon.
Yeah,
so they kind of made it so like his first child was the main villain of the whole thing. So you got to see a lot more, like even Odin, you know, like Loki has a moment where he was like, "Yo, Dad really ain't shit, but he's kind of really cool." And then Thor is like, "You know, Dad really kind of was a bad person back in the day, but now we're kind of our own people now. Like we can actually just be whoever we want to be. Like it doesn't actually matter who our father was." Like,
I think another good thing I enjoyed was that Surtur was in it, and
one of my favorite. And that was that whole scene, actually, every scene.
One of my favorite Thor stories is about Walt Simonson, which is pretty much, he made pretty much all the Thor stories. Was the Ragnarok storyline where Surtur's in it, and I love it. I love how he drew Surtur, and they actually really took from the comic book on that. So I was really geeked out about that. So really, that's the good. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the bad. You have anything else to add about the good?
My good is mixed with my bad.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into the bad.
Word.
I really love the Planet Hulk storyline elements they added to it. I don't like their treatment of the Hulk, ironically, in this film. Just as it relates, because I don't know if you guys have ever experienced Planet Hulk, but in Planet Hulk, basically, he is the Hulk on this planet for so long that the Hulk develops his own personality, he develops his own intelligence, he develops his own, like, he doesn't speak in third person anymore. And it's also, like, it's heavily implied and then eventually confirmed that Bruce Banner is actually entirely co-signing everything the Hulk does. Like, they were like, yo, Bruce Banner is like, yo, I kind of don't like being Bruce Banner. I want to be the Hulk. The Hulk is like, I want to be the Hulk. So this planet works out perfectly. And so my only beef is, while they had a lot of really great Planet Hulk elements into this, they really didn't give the Hulk any actual, like, development. Like, they were like, he's been the Hulk for 2 years. And even then, that's kind of, like, brushed off. Because there's a whole scene where Bruce Banner's like, oh my God, if I turn back into the Hulk, I'll never be able to become Bruce Banner again. Like, and that's they kind of treat it as a joke where he's just
and like, I don't fault Kevin Feige for that. And the reason why I don't is because the thing about Planet Hulk is you really have to bring in the Illuminati.
You do.
And you can't bring in the Illuminati because Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't have Professor Xavier. They can't bring in Reed Richards. They really can't bring in Namor yet, right? And they didn't. I don't know what they're going to do with the Inhumans right now, but you can't bring in the Inhumans because they're kicking it like they don't know everybody else. That Black Bolt doesn't know everybody else. So, that's like half the Illuminati.
I wasn't looking for like a whole Planet Hulk thing. I just would have liked it for like the Hulk to have been like not done.
And you're right. And,
like they have him pretty much being as a baby.
Yeah,
like he has really great banter moments with Thor, but it's literally like Thor talking.
It's like
to
a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah, like it's like Thor talking to like a really strong, like an autistic kid. Like they kind of play it like Thor's talking to this mentally retarded child, and it's.
We don't use mentally retarded. We use. But anyway,
cognitively disabled.
We say, you know, he was like talking to like a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah, so. it was like, and it was ridiculous. So like, and I hated it because the Planet Hulk storyline, the Hulk is like way smart. At least he's also like, he develops his own opinions. You hear how he feels about the fact that everybody on Earth tries to kill him all the time, even though he saved the Earth like 1,000 times. And they just kind of
but it actually kind of. I mean, I feel
like a joke in this.
No, I feel bad because I know this sounds crazy because. There's a point where Thor's trying to convince him to come back to Earth. And he's like, why do I want to go back to Earth? They love me here. Like, he doesn't mind being locked up in that room because
he gets like they
love him.
Like they
love him. They worship him. Whereas on Earth, he's hated. And then it's kind of like, to me, that would be a good reason. Why would I want to go back here if I'm oppressed when I go back here? But here I'm loved. There's no way you're going to convince me. And then he convinces them. In the next 5 minutes,
they brush over it.
So I feel you.
And then they have an actual conversation where he's like, well, Thor. He says something to Thor, and he's like, "Bro, you're Banner's friend. You're not my friend."
You're my friend. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's true. Like the entire film series, every MCU film, they treat Banner like a problem until they need the Hulk to smash something.
Yeah.
And then Banner's a problem again. Like they had a whole secret prison built for the Hulk, and then Thor's had like 2 fight scenes with the Hulk at this point, and they're on the same side. Like. They always treat the Hulk like a problem, and then it's never. And again, in the comic book, he comes to like a whole bunch of realizations. He becomes more confident as Bruce Banner, becomes more confident as the Hulk, accepts these parts instead of being two separate beings, that they're all one person inside of him. And whereas in the film, the fact that the Hulk has been on this planet for 2 years, the fact that Bruce Banner, and again, in the comic book, it's like they're almost holding hands, like the Hulk and Bruce Banner are homies. In the movie, they even described it, and I was okay with the difference. He was like, normally me and Hulk don't have the same hand on the wheel. This time it's like he had me in the trunk of the car, and I wasn't in control. And I was like, that's a bit different, but I would have liked to explore that. Like, let's see, like, wow, what triggered it to the point.
But I'm gonna tell you what I told one of my students. It's a Thor movie. Like, I feel you, but it's a Thor movie.
It's a Thor movie with the Hulk in it.
And the Hulk in it, but it's a Thor movie.
So they could have had the Hulk have.
It's a Thor movie. They could have, and you know, because it's probably going to be really big. You never know. But MCU might say, let's do a separate Hulk thing. You know.
But I mean, if you're gonna bring up certain aspects, or like to literally say,
I believe
nobody on Earth likes me. He actually said, he's like, yo, everybody on Earth hates me. Why would I want to do that? They don't hate you. And he's like, all right, everybody hates you. But
I believe I will put my and mark this down. Mark this down. Today's November 6th. I will put my complete faith in the MCU. And I think that Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4, MCU will keep the Hulk away from Earth and keep him out there. I'm not going to say they're going to put him back in Sakaar, but I think that we're going to see that.
Gonna make it to Earth yet?
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep it. I think there's a way to do that. I think there's a way to do all that. But any other bad?
Bad.
Well, my bad was that I can see the personality change with Thor, right? But I dislike the personality change in Odin. Because Odin, in the comic book, forever and ever, in the last 2 Thor movies, has been the ultimate asshole. He has been the ultimate asshat dad who just wants shit done his way.
Utterly gangster.
So, for him to be now this soft guy,
he's all like,
he was like, I want to die.
Because at the end of Thor 2, I don't know if you guys remember, Loki like tricked everybody into thinking he was dead, and then they don't even know how.
Well, no. Actually, he had everybody thinking he was Odin.
Well, remember he thought he faked his death first, and then
but then when Thor came to visit him, and he said, "You go back to Earth."
I know that was. I'm just saying, Loki faked his death. Yeah. Like at the end of Thor 2, Loki faked his death.
Yeah.
And then did something to Odin, but we find out that like Loki is Odin.
Yeah.
And then even that's brushed over. They were like, what does Odin say? Odin even acknowledges it. Odin was like, yeah, it took me a while to come out from under your magic, man. Frigga would have been proud. And he just kind of like stayed in isolation after.
And I just had an issue with that.
Yeah,
I just had that was like one of my issues with that because he's usually a dickhead.
And then, they kind of explain it a little bit in the sense of they were saying like his death is what makes Hela like come back. Like her
because he was keeping her.
Yeah,
he was keeping her. Yeah.
Her prison was directly tied
to him. Yeah.
To his life force. Yeah. So it's kind of implied that when he was like forced out of Asgard by Loki, that meant he was gonna die automatically, and he was trying to keep her away from Asgard, like make it hard for her to get to Asgard. So he stayed away from Asgard. Or something, like it's kind of implied. They don't really say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't really get into.
They kind of just like.
He just, by the way, I'm the one that's keeping her here. So when I die, she's gonna come back out. And it's like,
and then it's literally as soon as he dies, she appears. Like literally
right after the
bam. She's like, hey, what's good? And then she beats the tar out of Loki and Thor, like 3 times. Bad. I got one more bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was the Odin Force or Thor just suddenly deciding to be Thor.
See, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that should be the Odin Force. But,
I agree.
But here's the thing about the MCU: the MCU is kicking the Asgardians as a race of beings who we thought were gods, not gods.
I understand that, but
no. But I'm saying like, so they're not kicking that he has the Odin Force. They're not kicking that he created the
But
our
they
universe.
mentioned the Odin Force in Thor 1 though.
Yeah, but then they moved away from this idea that Asgardians are the Aesir and they are gods. They moved away from it.
I get you. I'm not
I'm
trying to say that they're cosmic. I'm just saying.
No, I feel you, but
even in light of moving them away from actual deities,
yeah,
you can still say the Odin Force is just an immense cosmic force. Because there's other immense cosmic forces.
And whoever's going to be the heir to the throne is supposed to get the Odin Force.
But they don't even do that because they've talked about the Odin Force in the first one. Then the Odin dies. Thor gets a random power up when he's fighting the Hulk. That's how he wins.
Yeah, he gets a random.
He does beat the Hulk. Like he beats the Hulk in the fight because he gets his. And we all thought it was the Odin Force. And it wasn't like even though you see Odin right before he activates the power up, Odin says something along the lines of like, "Oh, this is just your thunder magic. Like you're the god of thunder. This is your thunder."
Yeah.
So he kind of gets like thunder magic. It was weird. I don't know.
All right. For the last bit, we usually do the ugly, but yeah, let me be honest with you. I don't have anything ugly. I don't have.
The ugliest thing about this film to me is their mistreatment of the Hulk. And like I said, a lot of my bad is tied with my good. So like, the Warbound is low key in this film, like very low key in this film. So we see Korg, and we see Meek, and then we see somebody who like this really that they remember the dude with 3 heads.
Yeah, but the
pale albino dude.
Yeah,
who was kind of supposed to be hero in the shame, but not really. Like it was like a few visual throwbacks to the Odin Force. As opposed, to the Warbound, as opposed to the actual Warbound.
To the actual, and the Warbound was a group that helped
the Hulk gladiator pits,
and they also moved in and helped them when he came to Earth, and they called the planet Hulk.
Beat the tar out of everybody.
I mean, World War Hulk. Yeah,
beat the tar out of everybody on the planet.
But yeah, so that I don't have anything ugly. Again,
like the closest thing I have to ugly is the fact that like it was cool seeing Korg. It was especially cool because in Thor 2,
then that wouldn't be ugly.
In 2, we have. Like the Korg's races are up there. Remember, like he fights the rock people at the beginning of Thor 2.
In Thor 2, yeah.
And then in Thor 3, he recognizes them. He's like, "Oh, you're one of those, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah, that's one of me." And what was hilarious was Korg in the comics is a very serious. He's a giant stone. Like he's like, and in this they made him so neurotic. Like his voice is just so funny. Like he's like,
how's
it going?
That's Watiti's voice actually. That's the director.
That's hilarious. So yeah, bro. Like I'd have to say, but even
very
then, like,
disarming.
Yeah, it was very, and when you know the comic line, it was even funnier because you're like, wow, they're really doing Korg like this. So that was like my good and my ugly because it was really funny. It was a great throwback to Planet Hulk because it wasn't a Planet Hulk film. Definitely a Thor movie. Wasn't Planet Hulk, so I'm not like too hot about the fact.
I'm telling you, they cannot do a Planet Hulk movie.
I'm not too hot about the fact they did do a Planet Hulk movie. You're right, they could.
They can't do a Planet Hulk.
The universe would have to be so much huger for them to do a Planet Hulk movie.
Yep.
But I'm not mad they didn't do a Planet Hulk movie. It's just that I thought, part of me is like, man, that's a really funny Planet Hulk reference. And another part of me is like, I mean, it kind of is supposed to be the Planet Hulk people. I wish you'd have done it right. So like, I'm really like at odds. So that's probably the only ugly to me is that like I like the elements they took from Planet Hulk, but the elements they took from Planet Hulk just makes me wish they had a Planet Hulk film. So I suggest watching the Planet Hulk animated film if you're looking for a good depiction.
Actually, you can actually buy the trade of Planet Hulk.
Oh, it's true.
And that's actually way better.
Just do that.
You can do that. Go on Amazon.
The artwork is beautiful. The Hulk gets a girl who's just as strong as he is, sort of.
I think more powerful. I would say
potentially more
powerful.
She's not in the sake of this storyline, though. Yeah, but could she?
I think she's dope. And I'm mad they killed her off. I'm really pissed off about that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry for that spoiler. But like we said, it was all spoiler, right? So
spoiler.
Again, I'm Dan Trezomi. This is B-boy Cabi. You can check me on my podcast with my killer tape at. You can catch B-boy Cabi at your local slam. You could also what's your contact, man? What can they contact you?
Just B-boy Cabi, B-boy B-B-O-Y C-A-B-I, no S's around here. Cabi spelled with the C. You can pronounce Kesha with the $sign. You can pronounce Cabi with the C. And that's about it. Or Facebook Xavier Rodriguez, either one. You
can hit me up on Twitters at DANTRESOMI, Dan Trezomi. Or you can check me up on iTunes or SoundCloud where my killer tape at. I drop it every Monday, every week it comes out. Episode 19 is out, and episode 19 actually has a spoiler-free review of Thor Ragnarok.
So if you watch this review and got all the spoilers, and then you want to see a review with no spoilers,
there you go. Peace.